Hello, Guido here from blockbuilders.net, and today we want to talk about Kraken and the fees that are on that platform and that you are paying. So first of all, if you don't have a Kraken account, I put a link down in the description that you can use to sign up, and they do special promotions every once in a while if you use that link. So once you have an account, you can actually start trading on Kraken, and there are basically two ways to buy cryptocurrencies on the platform. First of all, you can use the buy crypto here. So that's the very convenient way where you just have to enter how much Bitcoin, for example, or Ethereum or whatever you want to buy. You select that and then you basically say, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin for 100 euros or 1,000 euros. And it basically gives you the quote. And then you can just buy it with 2 clicks on a button. And that's very convenient. However, it's way more expensive than when you would use Kraken Pro. So everyone who has a Kraken account can also use Kraken Pro. It's just here under Trade and then Kraken Pro. And then you can basically use Kraken Pro, which is their professional interface. And it also has way cheaper fees. If we look at the fee structure, you can see if you use instant buy and sell on Kraken, that's what I showed you here at the beginning. They basically charge you a fee of 1%. So when you buy Bitcoin for $10,000, they basically charge you $100 for the fee. And if you sell it, you are paying another 1% fee. So depending on the price development, it can easily be $200 in our example. So that is actually quite expensive. However, there's a cheaper way to do it, and it's basically Kraken Pro. And Kraken Pro, as you can see here, when it comes to spot trading, so as you know, you can trade futures and spot. And spot is basically when you buy a cryptocurrency and then it belongs to you. You can withdraw it from the platform. It's basically your cryptocurrency. You can select it, and then you can trade it here. And as you can see, there's a difference between a taker and a maker order. I will explain that in a second, but the taker order is 0.4% and the maker order is 0.25%. It also depends on your trading volume. So that's basically the price if you trade less than $10,000 per month. If you trade more, you can see the maker and the taker price goes down. So first of all, let's start with the taker. A taker fee is basically paid when you are using a market order. A market order is just an order where you say, okay, I want to invest, I don't know, $500 into Bitcoin, and then you click buy, and it basically buys the Bitcoin for you, and it buys it for the best price available. So here it's basically the ask price, so it would buy at that price. However, it's cheaper if you do a limit order. Then you get the maker fee. A limit order is an order where you would say, for example, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin if the price drops, for example, to $90,400 or $90,450 here. Then it would end up in the order book, and that gives the platform, so Kraken in that case, liquidity, and they want to incentivize that. So that's why it's cheaper to do a limit order. And there you only pay 0.25% or less when you are trading more than $10,000 per month. And that's basically the difference. And coming back to our example of $10,000, of the $10,000 trade, that would only be $25 instead of $100 as a fee. So huge difference here. The main difference being that it's a bit more complicated because you have to know how to do a market and a limit order. But besides that, it's fairly easy, and it's the same backend. So you don't need to move around. You don't need to move your money around from Kraken to Kraken Pro. It's all in the same backend. However, at Kraken Pro, you have several wallets. You have like the main wallet where you trade spot, and then you have a futures or a derivatives wallet, and there you can trade derivatives, so futures. And you can move money in between these two wallets without paying anything. So it's free and it's instant because it's just a transaction in the background on the platform, so they don't charge you anything and it's instant. That's basically it in terms of fee. When you deposit money here, if you do it via bank transfer, it's free on Kraken. They charge you a fee if you do it via PayPal. It's 2.4%, so I wouldn't recommend that. I would always go with a bank transfer. And when you want to withdraw, they charge you, I think, €1, so around $1, which is also fairly cheap. So the main fees here on the platform are actually just trading fees. So if you don't trade and don't withdraw money, they don't really charge you anything. And if you withdraw money, it's like $1, or if you withdraw a cryptocurrency, it's basically just a network fee that you would pay anyway when you would send cryptocurrencies from one wallet to another. So that's also quite fair. That's basically it in terms of fees. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the comments down below. If you find that video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.